So my lady's been complaining that we don't have enough cast iron cookware around the house. You know how women are. So I'm heading out to the thrift stores today, see if I can find a deal. I've never thrifted for cast iron before, but if you've been watching this channel, you know that I love me some vintage cast iron skillets. I've got a set of Wagner's that I inherited from family that is my favorite cookware to use. But the other big name is Griswold, and there's also a lot of lesser known brands like BSR and many others that all made great cookware back in the day. So I'd love it if I could find a Griswold today, but we'll see what treasures I can come up with. I sure hope I can find something, because if I don't, this video is going to be a bust. So I've got a list of 17 vintage and thrift stores around town that I'm going to visit. I hope I don't have to visit them all, but if I need to, I will visit them all. Either I'm going to waste 5 hours and $20 of gas, or I'm going to find some cast iron treasure today. Let's go. Here we go. First stop, Deseret Industries thrift store. Well, that was a bust. First one, no luck. No cast iron at all. Not even a 5-year-old Lodge. No matter. 16 more to go. I really don't know what to expect though. I know it used to be that a lot of people didn't really value those vintage cast iron skillets, and so they were easy to find at thrift stores and secondhand stores. Often people didn't know how to care for them, they would rust, and they just think, this is junk, I'm gonna give it away. And then people like me would come along and restore them and have a great piece of cookware. But now it might be that it's just too well known. You know, a lot of people recognize their value and are looking for those, or are just not letting them go because they understand that there's more of a demand for those vintage skillets. First Goodwill, bust. Then I went to the Goodwill outlet, which this place is crazy. There's just tubs and bins as far as the eye can see, filled with absolutely random stuff. Clothes on top of colanders, on top of CDs, on top of old magazines. And what's more, it was packed. It's packed. All these thrift stores are packed. It's Thursday around noon. Don't these people have normal jobs? Let's change the pace. Let's go to a smaller place. This is going to be Stars and Splendid. So Stars and Splendor actually did have a little bit of cast iron. They had a few Dutch ovens, 2 of which I thought were more than I wanted to pay for what they were, and one didn't have a lid and was cheaper. It was $35 versus like $110 or $150. And I think it was a BSR as far as I can tell, but I still didn't go for it. I think there's something more special out there. And if you're wondering why I'm not filming in the stores, it's because I'm psychologically incapable of filming in public around other people. I'm too considerate. I just feel so awkward and weird talking to my camera. Even if I'm not talking to the camera in public, just filming, knowing that other people don't want to be filmed, I just can't do it. Forgive me. One other cool thing in there was a roaster that was a collaboration between Magnalite and Wagner. And that's something I recently learned about because I found a Magnalite Wagner piece in my parents' house and asked them about it. And turns out my grandfather actually worked selling Magnalite for a while. Cool. Cookware runs in the family. I bought something at Really Good Stuff, which did have probably the best selection I've seen so far. I found this. I'm not sure what it is. It does not seem to have any identifying markings. I am going to clean it up, and maybe I'll find some markings that helps me identify. I'll do some more searching online. I paid 20 bucks for it. I probably could have got a better deal. My haggling skills are rusty, much like this pan. And it's also coated in gunk. It's probably many decades old. They also had some other cool pieces like this snowman mold muffin and cookie piece, which I considered buying, but no. A kind woman at the last place, Really Good Stuff, recommended that I go to this particular Goodwill, whose parking lot I'm in right now, because they have some cast iron. And they did have a pretty good selection, I mean, as far as thrift stores go. And I bought this for $10. What is it? I do not know. image searched this to try to find out what it was. Could not find anything, so I'll do some more investigation and clean this up back at home. And what I'm looking for as far as condition goes, I want a nice flat bottom, no warping. I don't want any cracks in the iron, so I run my fingers over, as best I can with all this gunk on it, try to find any cracks. And I don't want any reddish or pinkish hue to the iron, if I can tell. Rust is fine, rust is perfectly okay, but a reddish or pinkish hue indicates heat damage to the iron. All right, maybe 1 or 2 more stores, and then I'm done. Just left Vintage Pink, which is vintage shopping for rich people. It's really nice in there. Everything is beautiful and clean and well arranged and pricey. And there's no cast iron that I could find. I'm looking for the dusty, crummy, cruddy antique vintage shops with like just so many stacks of things that you have to look in the corners and look around the cobwebs and stuff to find the treasures. That's what I'm looking for. Vintage Pink, very nice shop. Not for me right now. One more, kitchen essentials. No, kitchen culture. Kitchen culture is a no. As soon as I walked in, I could see this place is really well organized. It's clean, it's nice. What's more, they had all their cast iron right up front and center. As soon as you walk in the door, boom, cast iron. And if it's that obvious, anything good's probably already been taken in my mind. And indeed, all I had left was a bunch of lodges that were probably like 20 or 30 years old, and they're charging more for this vintage lodge cookware than you can buy new lodge stuff for now. Lodge is pretty much the most affordable cast iron brand. Hello? Why do you have to be on camera?
Yes.
To get your reaction. Now, I know how much you've been going on and on about how we don't have enough cast iron cookware in the house, right?
Yeah.
And so I went thrifting to see if I could get some new pieces, some new old pieces. So I found 2 out of like 8 or 9, 10 stores.
Oh my god.
I got these. Do you love them?
They need some help.
I will be helping them.
Where did you go to get that? This is disgusting.
Right now, but that's what I want. I want it to look as disgusting as possible. So that way other people just look at it and be like, oh, who would buy that? Because I can see through the disgusting crud to see the treasure beneath. You like that, Chewy? You like these? They smell interesting, don't
Probably someone cooked something good in there.
Yeah.
Didn't clean it thoroughly. Nasty.
Like 60 years ago.
Ew. But both of them have little pour spouts. That's kind of nice.
They both have pour spouts.
I'm seeing through it.
She knows what she's talking about. And I don't know what either of them are. Neither of them are marked.
Oh.
So I'll try to figure it out.
Are you sure they're cast iron?
Pretty sure.
You put it in the lye bath and it just disintegrates.
Now that I've got these home, it's time for a very important step in the thrifting process, which is to use these lead test swabs. Because iron has such a higher melting point than lead, skillets make the perfect tool for melting down lead in order to make fishing lures, bullets, stuff like that. And some skillets have been used for that in the past. So if you're unaware of a skillet's history, it's important to test for lead. And a swab like this won't detect trace amounts of lead inside the metal. But if a skillet has been used to melt lead in the past, a swab like this is good enough to tell. Dip it in some water, and it'll pretty dramatically change color. At least that's the idea. If it detects lead, well, picked up some grayish black residue, but it didn't turn pink, which is good. Now that I know there's no lead on the surfaces of these crusty boys, it's time to clean them up. I place them in a lye bath, which has been my go-to method for dissolving all the crud and the old seasoning built up over decades. I do want to try other methods soon though. Some people tell you just to throw it in a bonfire, while the real pros seem to use electrolysis tanks. For now though, I use lye, which is pretty cheap and easy. After a couple of days, I washed and scrubbed them. It became clear pretty soon that the shallower pan was a rough cast, which means that it's not vintage and not collectible at all. This one also needed more cycles in the lye bath after I scraped off the top layers of grime. The rougher ones are always harder to clean. But the lye did reveal a marking on the smoother pan. There's a marking, 7T. 7T. I went to ChatGPT for help identifying this pan, and it gave me completely false information. It told me it was an unmarked Wagner circa 1900 to 1920, but more internet sleuthing revealed that it's actually a BSR, a Birmingham stove and range, likely from between the 60s and the 80s. I'm not 100% certain about that, it could be older. It's definitely not newer because BSR went out of business in '86 and stopped production then. The 7 here indicates the size of the skillet, and the letter afterward indicates the exact mold that was used to create this skillet. These letters were used internally so that the foundry could track wear on individual molds and maintain quality control. If a batch started showing defects, they could trace it back to a specific mold letter and retire or resurface that mold. These letters don't correspond to a specific date or series, just internal mold indexing. So 7T or 7A or 7D are the same size and could be the same era, just poured from different molds. It's no Griswold, but it is collectible and vintage, and it seems to go for about 50 to 100 bucks online. So good find. I'm not running a resale business here though, so I'm not putting it online. I think I'll give this one to my brother-in-law, who I believe has some appreciation for vintage cast iron. This other one has 0 markings, and it's likely a cheap foreign import from the late 20th century. The interior was just as rough as the exterior, but since this pan is nothing special, I've been using it to experiment on as I perfect my polish and season techniques. Watch out for a later video on how I've perfected that process. I'm not at perfect yet, but I'm getting there. Also, a little channel update. I've decided that once I get another cast iron video into the 6-figure view territory, I'm going to rename this channel. Historically, I'm pretty bad at naming things like channels and businesses, so I'm going to need some help from the public here. I've got a few ideas to run by you. You can let me know what you think in the comments, or if you've got something better, which you probably will, please comment down below. All right, first, Cast Iron Man. Like Iron Man, but cast iron, you get it. Okay, second, Panhandler. Little pun? Okay. And finally, OnlyPans. Yeah. Please help.